excursions and all that.
I have
kind
not
of stuff,
tested
and all
audio.
included in the
Do you
letter.
want to
Test it.
And
Yeah,
everything
test it
is
so
all
it goes
part
up.
of
Okay.
the cruise.
And you can go into places.
Sorry.
Start.
No, there has been going on. Yeah. Ready?
You want to
I
grab
sent
the
him a
door?
message.
Yeah, I'll
Somebody?
grab it.
He gave me his phone number.
Yeah,
He
just
said,
shut
"Well,
it.
I'm going to call the lady that we met with last week. And say, get some
Joanne,
information.
sign to find it here.
You know, he
You might want to sign in.
crazy. And I asked him twice to tell me what time we would be coming. And he
Where is it?
responded.
So it'll be-
We're having the clubhouse painted.
Uh,
He's running inside.
It does say we're live. Let me check here.
Oh, fair enough. I didn't. Nope.
We're getting on there. So we are all set to go.
Okay, good, Nick?
Yes, I am all set on my end. We're good to go.
All right, thank you. All right, so we'll officially call the meeting to order here at 6:33 p.m. Get started. Maria will not be joining us today. She has a conflict there, so we'll be taking notes. On the agenda for the evening, our usual, we have a quorum of all the board members here. Proof of notice after our snafu last week. The notices was up on Saturday, so that's good. The website was updated last week also. In terms of the minutes that Maria had sent out last week, I did not see any issues with the ones she did. So was there any changes that anyone saw?
Oh, I didn't notice that.
So if that's the case, I'll make a motion to waive the reading of the minutes from the May meeting and accept as presented by Maria. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. With that, we'll go through our usual status reports. Continuing business, we'll have a update on the HOA records inventory to the website. We have the street lamp fixture replacement to look at. The adder from this morning is we've got multiple kind of items that we had talked about the upfront recreation area improvement. We got quotes for that. New business, we've got street parking survey results. There's also another item we'll cover in new business, which was Maria sent to me about Avalon tree trimming. So that'll be covered under new business, and then the homeowner forum. Okay, for the month, overall expenses there about what we expect. Overall, G&A, we were favorable, almost just about flat there. We did have unfavorable in mailings due to the some of the items we had to send out for the bylaw amendment that we had. Grounds overall, I think we were unfavorable last month because of the mischarges into some of the expense accounts. That was reversed this month and recognized, so you've got the $3,500 favorable there. Guardhouse, the usual timing around the salaried, 1 week on, 1 week off type of thing. Overall there, that's pretty much what we expected. Utilities improved. It was only $2 to the unfavorable there, so the irrigation and electric kind of are more in balance than they have been the last few months. Reserve is the same, our usual $73.36 there. So for total expenses overall, we were $1,500 favorable. So that that helped bring us back in line to where we usually trend. Overall, you can see through May, the income there, we're still digesting the assessment credit that was processed, but that we'll skinny that down as we go through the year. We do have the G&A management fees. Printing is up. Miscellaneous has some stuff that Bernadette still hasn't switched out yet. That needs to be purified. So we have a conference call set up next week, I think, to make sure we're going to book those correctly and reverse them. Grounds, as you can see, we're favorable there. Tree trimming, grounds maintenance as usual, annuals, that's a timing, and then the routine infrastructure and maintenance. The gatehouse, it's about flat. You see there, so you can see that, you know, the timing's always offset itself. Utilities, it's a little better than it was last month, you know, still about $3,000 to be unfavorable. Reserve expenses, what it is. And total expenses overall, you know, $3,800, basically unfavorable, or excuse me, favorable. The reason why the percent to net income is different is because the actual line item is accounting for the decrease in the overall revenue for the last 2 quarters of the year. So the denominator change, which creates an artificial bounce in the overall percent to net income. Key metrics here, expense hand on days, you know, I mean, that's pretty much where we're at. We got almost 270,000 in operating surplus available. Net income, you can see we're starting to trend. I think we're at 13% overall through year-to-date April. Now we're at 9%, so we're starting to catch up there on some of the the various favorabilities that we're getting. Let's see, accounts receivable balance. You can see for the average month, you know, we're about 26,000. For May, we dropped down to, you know, 22,000. That follows the same seasonality pattern for the Q1. Overall percent to net income is about what we thought would be. The difference there, obviously, it's going to have about, I would say, about 1.4 to 1.6% baked in uptick because of the base change in the revenue overall for the year is different than the assumption for the other years. The aging, nothing substantially new there, as you can see. The homeowner aging by account, it's pretty much, you know, it fluctuates like this. You can see it, basically, if you did a flip book, you would see the bars moving across as it rotates through beginning of the paid quarter, second, third month, and then recycling through for next quarter pay. Project dashboard here, a couple things to highlight. For the gatehouse enhancements, Alan provided Nick, a list of different things that you know, basically identified to help create a more efficient gatehouse up there. I've got about 3/4 of them ordered on that, so we'll as soon as we start getting that in, we can get those up to Alan to start getting, you know, that a little bit done a little better. Another gatehouse enhancement that we were forced into, I think, as you saw, was the toilet pump that finally died.
Oh, I saw, yeah.
So that should be taken care of because they had to order the new lid for it that was rotted out on that. So that should be in tomorrow. Get that in, and then they're going to do the hardwire electric versus the, I don't know why they did an extension cord last time on that. It makes no sense to me, but they also installed a brand new toilet too in there. So it's end-to-end new on there.
Lovely.
Annual sidewalk grind and replacement. They have been out in the community working on that. Weather has obviously been playing a bit of a problem for them to get through the entire day there. So overall, though, they're making good progress on that. So the first activity is going to be the grinds, and then they're going to do the replacement panels shortly thereafter. So you know, that's moving along.
The grinds are already in flight for sure.
Yeah. Yep.
I've been seeing the mess.
LED electric sign, we talked about this last time. Nick, you're going to grab us some more information on that.
Yep, actually just emailed them.
Okay. In the interim, we're going to just get a like-for-like replacement. Diane Honnell from Honnell Property Services has the order in, so we can get that going. And I ordered the new, I guess they're a special order. Those letters are bigger than the usual. I think they're not standard, of course. So they were on Amazon, so we have those coming. So we can at least get through that, and if this guy comes through with something that makes sense, then we'll take a look at it again and review that.
Yep.
Overall, the program, we'll get into the entrance and recreation program items, you know, later in the slides here. The electrical infrastructure improvement was done by Bright Electric. That we had them refresh the quote and go through, so everything has been upgraded on that and taken care of through that scope of work that was sent. And then we still have open the street lamp fixture replacement, which we'll look at the options here coming up. Overall, the website, you know, is still ticking up in terms of overall usage on that. So when you look at the data here, you know, basically it is ramping up on that, and that's absent of, me going in to post all the records, so I pull out my ID, so this is just core user ID, it's not my
Yeah.
ID
They don't
going,
remember
yeah,
that.
so it is normalized for actual usage, so that's always good to see, and we'll get into the HOA records inventory in a couple minutes there. So getting into committee status report, so Mike, you can.
ARB is quiet. The 2 outstanding ones were completed. We do have the new construction, and I've been talking to the construction people about resubmitting.
Okay. Okay, that was easy. I think that's the shortest ARB we've had. Social committee, Nick, I'll let you take it here because I included what we had from the survey that I sent out. I sent everybody those, and you actually can. I posted the same package that everybody got on the website, so anybody that wants it can see it. So the food truck concept, if you wanted to.
Yeah. So I reached out to a few of an organizer of food truck events, and overall we got quotes from them. But from the survey, I think the majority of our comments, yeah, actually it says right there, we're moving to have it done during a different time of the year because of the heat. So a lot of people don't want to come out during the hottest parts of the summer, or if it rains on that day. With these food trucks, there's not much room for cancellation if we get too close. So if weather changes, so it might just be, from even a weather perspective, just better to move ourselves down a few months. We'll have to renegotiate to what date or what time frame, but other than that, the event planners, they said just shoot us a date and they'll get us a quote right away. So it's easy to go back and forth with them.
And I think maybe as we get closer, just an option if we have another survey opportunity to maybe list some potential, I guess you want to say, food themes, just to see.
Yeah, that's one thing that, because when we send out a request for an event, they will reply back with trucks that are available. So because obviously we can't specifically request a seafood truck if they don't have a seafood truck available. So it's in Orlando. So we kind of have to see what they have available, and then, we basically we could do another survey as well as ask from certain genres of food what is, what are people's favorites, and then we just book the truck we'd like, and that's it. It's pretty straightforward from there.
Yeah, so I think we'll focus on moving it into the fall timing then. On that,
Yeah.
so.
We'll go over dates and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else social committee wise?
No, I think we're good.
Information technology, the HOA document library is done, so everything has been posted, and we'll go through that in more detail. We did have some issues with the e-forms. Most of them have been resolved within our SLA 48 hours response on those, since I opened a Sev 1 ticket with the vendor. Essentially, the patches that were applied in error and stopped the routing. So I think we've recovered it all, and most of everything has been tested. So I think we're back to fully operational again there. Phase 2 on the website enhancements there. I'm still waiting for kind of an overall scope from them. What exactly they're looking at, timing, how much level of effort is in each one of them, and then we can kind of parcel it up to have focus where we want them to go with the next, I guess you want to say, round of functionality we'll push out.
Cool.
So hopefully they can get that. They said they're supposed to have it by end of Thursday, so hopefully we can get that, and then I'll push it out to everybody for your thoughts. Infrastructure I'll start with access control, because I didn't have any major issues reported from Alan. Did you, Nick?
Besides the list that he had said, which would
Yeah.
make their life easier, it's more of comfort, items. A lot of that stuff is just minor, nothing that would be emergencies, so no,
Yeah.
they're pretty set over there.
I do know that we have some PTO across the staff, so we're seeing some new faces in there.
Yeah.
Excuse me, especially on the night shift, because I believe Dionysius had some commitment where he had to travel internationally, so he won't be back until, I believe, mid-July.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Maybe closer to the end of July, from what Alan will keep us surprised of that, but
Yeah.
Alan works through the schedule, and if anything, he over communicates on it, so. we're-
Yeah, so.
In terms of infrastructure, we did have a street issue in Boca. There was a hole that formed, and we put some cones up there. Had Sam Carr come out. He brought out 2 other companies to look at it. It was determined it was just, there's nothing else there in terms of structural integrity issues underneath the road. It was just, for whatever reason, that spot eroded faster than anything else and created a pothole. So subsequently, Cordero.
But it's just not a pothole, not
Yeah.
a sinkhole.
Yep.
And we're not in a sinkhole area.
No. So they ran through the test just to make sure, because it just appeared out of nowhere. I mean, it was just odd. So it has been, you know, they cut it open, they've packed it 3 times with fines. They've got, and again, the weather's been impacting them too. They got 1 more pack, and then they're gonna concrete and asphalt it, and patch will be done. So.
Oh, okay, good.
Yep.
Sam should be done with a 3-year engineering report that we have to file with Orange County by the end of this week, so that'll be done for plate. Reserve Advisors was on site June 6th. I met with them along with Maria, kind of took them through all the projects we've done since the last reserve study, which I believe was 2013. So we should have that updated reserve analysis by, I would say, I think they said like the middle of July, something like that. So. At least that what we said, we wanted to get that in process. So after the last meeting, we did have Diane Honnell come out for the playground inspection. So she finished that. The report should be done beginning of January with all that, and she actually went through and took pictures of everything we had, the model number and serial number, actually pulling together the entire package with the original documentation from the manufacturer for the top lot, the swing. You know,
But she didn't see anything glaring issues?
nothing that would
or-
cause us to have to
down?
shut it down.
Okay.
So, but we'll wait for the full report to come out there. And then I did send out that, if you want to call it the bylaw up there, where we said we were gonna, the board would enter into a yearly annual report on the playground equipment going forward. We'll vote on that the next meeting coming up. But, you know, I think we're in good shape there, so I'm glad she got out and got that going. I did mention the sidewalk project got started on and off here with the rain, but it could be the next 2 weeks, it could be the next 3 weeks.
Who is the vendor for the sidewalk?
That's the Vice Painting.
Do they have insurance?
Mm-hmm.
Because I saw their workers, they are not using protection when they're walking.
Yeah.
Helmets, no.
Yeah, I mean, they're fully insured, we have all their documentation,
Okay.
Leland has everything on file. That was part of that's mandatory for the package that they submitted
we
with all that.
wouldn't
you
That's a
know.
accept
OSHA
it.
violation. They have to do an
Yeah,
OSHA.
just,
I know, right, yeah,
Mm.
you saw them?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
they were out front of my house today,
Yeah, I saw that.
yeah, so, and they're taking up the 5 parking
Yeah.
spots.
Yeah.
There's 5 and they're taking 4 of the
And
parking
tho- and
spots
those- and
in
those
the
should-
rec area.
And those should go away
It's
soon.
fine, though. It's-
But
yeah, it's
the,
easy.
like when they have the Bobcat that comes for the actual replacement of the panels, they're gonna park it at that little cul-de-sac on Scenic Oak at the end. and,
Okay.
Over that
Mhm.
way, 'cause they don't
Yeah.
need a Bobcat sitting out for,
Right.
general consumption at the playground area.
Yeah,
Yep.
We did have a rear fountain issue again.
of course.
It was resolved.
No meetings complete without a fountain issue.
Yeah. Actually, I mean, it's been run, in the one up front, once we kind of worked out the timer issue there, it hasn't had an issue. It's been fine. I don't know if it's because of the size or if it's if you want to call it the relative, you have the irrigation pump right there, and then you have all those boxes, which Bright Electric went through. They did replace some circuits, they did some upgrades like they said in their scope, so maybe that stabilizes things there. So in terms of upcoming items, we've got the 2 there. I mean, the catch-all program for the front recreation area, and then the sidewalk grinding and replacement, which is in process. So, all right, continuing business. This is the records inventory. So after we once we adopted our records policy, I forget when that was, a while back.
Yeah. Last year.
All of the records for Turtle Creek were subsequently in storage, pulled, went through, rationalized, and then been scanned. So now all of these have been posted. You've got 550 documents up on the website covering, you've got 268 months of financials, 152 meeting minutes, 22 committee reports, ARB stuff, 46 governance items, 35 legal items, infrastructure, basically anything that was comprehensive to Turtle Creek starting under developer control in 1996 all the way through the most recent financials for May is up there now.
Okay, good.
So,
Well, thank you, Mike. That was
There is
really good work.
there's no necessary issue with a homeowner having to go to Leland to get something. It's there because when Leland looks for it, there's only one spot to find it, on the website.
Right, okay, good.
So it's there. We do have some hard copy engineering documents that are larger that we did scan and move up there, but felt we should keep on, the full size things, as well as we do have the original governing documents. So we'll throw them into a strong box and have them stored up at the gatehouse going forward. So,
Wow, that was a big job.
yeah, it was a pain, but it's all up there now. So
It's worth it.
yeah, you can have fun and go through the history of, especially the meeting minutes, every,
Yeah.
date. You have a first meeting for the Turtle Creek board was in October of '96 under developer control, and then moving all the way through to most recent stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, street lamp fixture replacement. So, as part of the focus of the survey we sent out, and we have the survey responses in the bottom there. You see our current fixture there is the 100 watt Ocala clear globe with pretty much was it the sodium?
Sodium vapor.
I like the
Yeah, sodium.
best.
So, and these are the ones that, basically the 5 that we were looking at, but having Duke work up a final proposal on 2 of them. So you've got and these are all LED, and they all, obviously are gonna be way more efficient than we have here, and they're not gonna have that orange peel look to them. And they're definitely not subsequently bright enough like a parking lot where you have that bluish tint. It's more of a soft white look on all the LED. So we've got the Mitchell with the top hat, without the top hat, the open LED acorn there in the middle, the mini bell post, and then the Biscayne over there on the end. I think I put in the email I sent to you guys that a lot of communities are moving to open air, like that middle acorn one. I know they have that over at Ruby Lake.
Oh, you mean no bulb? No
globe
glass
around it.
or whatever that is? Yeah.
It keeps it clean because the rain and the wind actually clean out from the bugs that Duke has said multiple times, well, they don't come out and clean that stuff. They
Yeah,
don't
of
clean
course
it.
not.
And if you look through ours, you can see some of them the ones you can see are replaced, don't have anything in it, but the ones that have been there a while, you can see the buildup in it.
Yeah.
And then the
Well,
other.
Does it look funny though, like it's missing?
Well, doesn't it without
The
the glass? Doesn't it just shoot? I mean, it just shoots.
It has a diffuser underneath the cap. If you pull
Oh,
the
it
cap
does
off,
have a diffuser?
there is the diffuser
Yeah.
that pushes it down, which the other item then is the cap and the hat. That allows for the light instead of in the open globe like we have. I mean, you're getting a very, I guess you want to say, a starburst effect and everything going up. This one pushes it down to the road and the
Yeah.
sidewalk.
But would
Yeah.
that be more harsh light because it's pushing it down? Instead of-
No, it has to do with the
Think
color
anything-
temperature though,
Yeah.
of the LEDs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the Mitchell top hat LED, the one here, got the most votes with 52 responses overall out of the total of 89 responses we had. The Mitchell no hat, right next to it, its brother got 43, and then the open LED Acorn got 25 thereafter. Essentially, if you look at the extended subtotal, our maintenance right now would fall about by 20% on we have 107 fixtures across 96 poles because we have 2 double fixtures on the ones going down the entranceway.
Up front,
Yeah.
And based upon, we pay about $1.72 per fixture a month right now for maintenance. That's actually scheduled to go up based on our continuing to increase
Yeah,
calls.
we're gonna get a premium fee, right?
Yeah, that was almost gonna double
Technology.
because they're trying to push you into getting updated.
That makes sense.
All the posts, you know, the F&E there, you see, which is essentially gonna drop by 61% because of that's the fuel and energy piece of it. And then the rental for the actual fixture, right now, our fixtures were installed between 1996 and 1999, so they're on a price sheet that is ancient in that regard. So they're only $8.78 a fixture a month
Back then.
back then. And they, you know, obviously, nothing's ever been changed out in terms of that, so that's when you see, you know, you're gonna be paying, obviously, you know, about $20 a month then per fixture going forward on this stuff. But,
We're gonna have that no matter what we do, though.
yeah. The posts, in and of themselves, they, you know, they remain the same. They're static in their fees and everything. They did say on the posts, they'll come through and they'll do an analysis. Any posts need to be replaced at that time, they'll do it and they'll charge. If we wanted to add a couple posts, I mean, we're not gonna be able to add a dozen, but I can probably talk them into doing 6, 7
Yeah.
on dark spots that we've acquired over the years where they can put it in. They'll do it at the same time and won't charge us anything, which, you know, usually they have an overhead, they have a deployment fee, a construction fee,
Right.
you know, to
Yeah.
put it in.
It's perfect time to do it, yeah.
They will put us on the list and see if they can accelerate getting all the posts repainted, you know?
Yeah.
So they would be painted black, you know, to renew their black color on that.
Do they
But
paint them or powder coat them?
they're not going anywhere, so I'm assuming they've got to do some kind of in-place
Oh, they can
paint.
do them there?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay.
So we'll, you know, we'll have that done. It won't happen at the same time you do the fixture replacement. He says that they're two separate teams, they don't work on the same schedule.
Okay.
Doesn't seem efficient, but who am I to say?
Right.
So, I mean, overall, I mean, the guy at Duke said, you know, it takes about 2 months from the time you sign it, you know, you sign the final proposal, enter into the contract to actually be deployed. Sometimes 3 months on that, depending on their backlog and all the rest of the stuff. You know, he said we can work up the final proposal for 2 of the choices, and then you can have the, you know, all the details behind everything, basically thereafter. The new pricing sheet, the, I guess the maintenance agreements, the posts are in there, because they'll catalog the posts. And the other thing they're gonna do is they're gonna reband, you know, some of the posts have the number and a silver, if you wanna call it, badge
Yeah.
that you can
They
report,
have badges.
and some don't. They're gonna go through and redo all of them so that everyone has an individual
Excellent.
badge that you can report, because it has been a pain. When I've
Yeah.
done it, and I know, Mike, you've done many of those.
I have to go to mailboxes between
Yeah.
1, 0, in between.
Yeah, and they said, you know, when they do this too, there's in each of the cones now, they have a GPS component, a chip in it, so
Oh.
now when you pull up that to report an outage, all your lights are accounted for, because sometimes you have to place the dot, hey, it's kind of
Oh,
like
yeah,
around here.
yeah.
Now all of them, you can be able to pick, you know, they'll
that's
all
cool.
come in.
Excellent.
So it leads to better and more accurate reporting, better ticketing, things of that nature. So-
Excellent. I mean, do these LEDs go out often? I mean, not as much as what our current ones are, right? I mean, I don't
Mine at
think
home
that,
don't,
I don't
that's
think
for sure.
maintenance-wise, they're
No.
gonna be a lot of tickets on our end, so.
It typically, LEDs are rated at 50,000 hours to half brightness,
Yeah, well,
but you're never gonna get there. They never make it,
yeah.
especially outside of the weather and lightning and everything else.
Yeah, if you have a hurricane, that usually impacts
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Do you know
But-
if the open one has a globe that could be put in afterwards, just in case that it doesn't? In case
No.
that bug issue becomes a problem?
Nope.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, because I asked that question, can we put a globe in the open acorn, and can we remove the globe from the Mitchell? No.
No,
What you
no.
see is what you get.
Okay. all right.
yeah, they're
I got
good.
2 no's on that.
Because I can see the spiders building in there like crazy.
Mhm.
And which one, the open one?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's good for Halloween.
Yeah, right.
So, you
So
know,
with the increase of this, are we gonna have to do any budget changes, or we can just handle it through the
Yeah.
rest of the year?
if you look at it, I mean, starting at next year, I mean, you're still running at a net income level, you're still retaining
Right.
enough earnings that you can suck this up with no issue
Okay.
on this. And considering the opportunity, we can create more, we can put in some more lights within reason and create, reduce some of the really, really dark spots we have in all three other communities. And get on the list to get it painted. I mean, you could essentially by the end of the year have all the light posts renewed and looking, basically brand new.
Yeah.
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 Is that extended subtotal, is that per year or per month?
That's the per month.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's
So
$1,100
if
a
you,
month?
yeah, it's let's say $2,600 there. We're paying about $1,500 now.
Right.
That's just for the fixture. You're like I never put in the post charges because nothing changes on them.
Right,
They're
right.
they're just
Yeah.
baseline, the same to same. Because he was asking, do you want to replace all the posts? And I'm like, no, because that you need cash out of pocket.
Yeah.
Right.
This takes no cash out of pocket. It's
Right.
there's no sunk cost on this. It's essentially a run rate increase to the expense
Yeah.
overhead
Mhm.
because you're changing it. You're changing it out.
Yeah, post can be done on a one-off basis if needed.
Yeah. So I mean I don't have any issue going forward with we can go forward with both the Mitchell since they're the top vote getters if you want, or we can do the Mitchell hat.
Go to the one that most people voted for, right?
Yeah.
That's
I
what we
mean,
need
all
to
the
do.
people have spoken. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean we had 89 respondents to the survey. So
Yeah,
I mean, evidence is evidence, right?
yeah.
well that'll be easy for them because I think both of them are the same price.
Oh, there you
There
go.
So,
Lovely.
but I don't know if there's any kind of lead time, because they will have lead time. I mean, obviously, they don't have all these fixtures in stock, so they've got to order from their vendor.
Right.
We'll have the project timeline laid out, stuff like that.
Okay.
But I can go forward with our two top vote getters then,
Yeah.
so.
Sounds good.
It'd be
Yeah.
nice with the LED lights. It's
I'm
gonna make a
excited.
big difference, I think, outside.
Yeah, because I know Ruby Lake has the Acorn in the middle, and Phillips Grove is gonna have the Acorn also in there. So
Mhm.
they're going with the complete open shell. This, I think the Mitchell with the top hat there, I mean, it gives you a little bit, to me, it looks a little more upscale. And
Mhm.
pushes the light down to the sidewalk where we need it more than
Maybe
Yeah.
we have to re-vote again because it was not clear for me that there is no glass in this one.
Oh, I didn't realize that
Yeah.
either.
I
I
did
did
not
not realize that.
The open one?
Yeah, we're not going forward with that one.
No,
But he's saying the survey
when we
was
voted, I
misleading.
didn't know that.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean,
It was not clear for me. I mean, now I understand that it is maybe smarter to go for the open one.
Yeah, all that
See,
stuff
I
is on
disagree.
Duke's
I think where
website.
it's gonna cost us more in cleaning
Cost?
bugs out of there.
spider webs, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Protection on it, we're gonna have to.
well, then we're delayed another month for.
But
for
the
another
thing, the
survey, so.
protection is not a protection because still they will go inside.
Yeah, but you're not gonna have big spiders, webs and, I don't know.
All right,
You
why
wanna do
don't-
another
Yeah,
survey?
why don't we do this? I'll talk to them, I'll have them do 3 proposals, the 2 Mitchells and the open LED. We'll recycle the survey since it doesn't cost anything,
Mhm.
with each explanation, and I guess, we can throw in the budget money.
Yeah, the
Well,
top three.
well, instead of when we do survey, do it for the top 3 then. So instead of our 5, say we've narrowed it down, we're doing
That's what
one
I said.
last.
That's
Oh,
what I
okay,
said.
okay, yeah. So, and then just one last survey.
Yeah.
And that slightly frosted lens will help take the sharpness out of the LEDs too.
It's true.
Which the lens?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the
globes.
globes.
Yeah, 'cause it's
The
a
globes are
diffusion,
gonna-
you know.
Yeah.
So, but,
Yep.
no, if you're agreeable with that, we can, if it wasn't clear enough, so.
I mean-
I don't have an issue with it, I mean, we can run another week-long survey.
All this stuff is on Duke's website. That's where I want to look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta,
Okay.
you gotta poke around a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to ask about color temperature. Do they have like one set, or what? Like, how do they determine color temperature for
Usually
these
bright
LEDs?
white or soft white.
Warm
Yeah.
white is.
So-
what we
Warm
want.
white.
Yeah,
Soft white.
and they have.
Do they have like choices, or is it just
No,
like
it's
they
based-
determine based off
It's
of?
based on, because if you notice, the Mitchell has 50-watt LED,
Mhm.
the Open Acorn has 70. Now
Ooh,
Now, the
It's
color.
gonna be bright.
that's gonna be really bright.
Yeah.
And no globe?
Yeah.
And well, the other thing we can do is, I know where they have these at, because he gave me places where they have them deployed.
I'd love to see these things.
Yes.
Go to Ruby Lake to see the open LED.
The open,
aircraft.
yeah, they've got the open ones, right? In
Where?
Ruby. Yeah.
Can we get
Ruby.
over there at night, or
Yeah.
is it gated off yet?
I have a code to get in if you need it.
Well,
works.
we could even pull in there, you can pull in and see them from,
Yeah,
you
but I
know,
mean,
the
sometimes they
drive-up
have the gates
to
closed
the
because they're supposed to leave them open from 7 to 7,
Mm.
and then they close them because that's gonna be the same thing they do at Phillips Grove.
Oh, yeah.
They open from 7 to 7. But if you need the
That's
key
gonna
code-
be bright.
I mean, take a look at it.
Well, I mean, yeah,
I
I
don't have
haven't,
one in
I
my
haven't
front
seen
yard,
it
so I'm
myself,
okay.
so I may stop by Ruby Lake. Maybe I'll take a photo for, well,
Yeah,
if I'm in
I'll
Ruby
swing
Lake,
by
I'll-
there too.
I just don't
See,
want
that's gonna
like,
be awfully bright.
I just don't want like the definitive line around the pole of light. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Like that it's kind of a
Yes.
natural
Like
gradient
so it's not a
as it leaves
spotlight,
the
it's
pole.
a, yeah.
That's what the
I
gold
mean-
will do for you.
See, exactly, versus that
Yeah.
Gold will
open.
take the sharp edge off.
I'm gonna go to Ruby. I'll go take a look at Ruby Lake.
And I know where the Mitchell top hats are, or with and without top hats. I can take those pictures. Let's include them in the survey then. This is what it looks like.
Well,
in
I
the-
Not so
think
much
the
the
ones,
picture, I
the
wanna see if
first
they
one
look like
there,
they're
whatever the
running.
name
Yeah.
is, those
Picture
are up
them.
there at the shopping center at Fleming's.
Mhm.
I think it's those that are up there.
Which ones? The left ones?
The one that
Ones with
came in
the-
first for us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
That
those
we're
are.
And I
Fleming's?
think those are, and then also I think they have some of those, what's it
Mhm.
called,
The
Post
bell
top?
post. The
Yeah.
bell post.
they have
Yeah,
some of those.
but be careful. We can't make that apples to apples comparison because that's under the commercials.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
but-
I
but we
know,
gotta
but
go
it
to
was
resident.
just that same
Yeah.
fixture, it was nice to be able to see it.
Yeah.
So I'll make a
Okay.
note.
Sandpoint has the open fixtures
What was
Where?
that,
as well.
Sandpoint?
Sandpoint has the open fixtures.
Okay.
And that one has a lot of trees in it, so it might be a good comparison
Okay.
versus Ruby Lake, which
Okay.
is a new development.
All right.
Yeah, that's true.
Thanks
They
for
don't
that.
have many of the
That
And
trees
doesn't-
yet.
Mark, I know
Yeah.
it's not open forum, but I've heard a lot of people comment that they did not get the survey.
Okay, because the
Like,
sur-
I got it, but he
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah, we didn't get it.
They didn't get it
Kathy
at all.
didn't get it, I didn't get it.
They mentioned they didn't. So-
Well, I mean, there's 283 emails on there. I'll go back through and look because it only bounced out of 283. Now, I had 13 people remove themselves from future Survey Monkeys. I don't know if they didn't want to do that or
They were
not.
like, never ask me for my opinion again.
But I'll go back and look. But I mean, as long as your email is within the Leland, I mean, if you get the MailChimp stuff.
Try
then
to
you
check,
can-
if you
mail.
didn't get it, or someone you know that didn't get it, try and check the spam folder for future surveys, or if we send out this one again. Because I mean, there's so many, how many email clients are there? Some of them do count that as spam.
Spam.
So go in there should be a button somewhere above that'll say, allow
This
this,
is
or
not
don't
spam.
block,
This is not
exactly.
Right.
So,
But I did get the other emails, so apparently it's not going to spam.
okay, all right. Well, I mean, I'm just
Well,
saying
but
that
this
could
one
be an
might be
option.
We
because
didn't get
it's a
the
Survey
survey.
Monkey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're referring to these by name, but we can't read the names from back here.
Oh.
Which are the popular ones, the top three?
One, two,
yeah.
three.
First three up?
Yeah. So that would be, we
And then 4 or
essentially,
5.
yeah, we essentially cut the last two out and then look for the pick one from these three type of thing. And then Duke can work up the proposal for all three in the background.
And which was the most popular that people voted for?
All the way on the
Was
left.
first one?
First one.
Well, not the one, yeah, the
The very
second.
first one's what we have now.
Okay, so we'll send another top three.
Mhm. Let's wait until we get our those proposals
Okay,
up first,
expensive,
yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Because if
Yeah.
one of those
We
is
can't
really
have
out of like big difference in cost, then
No, these are the actual costs.
oh, okay.
Because he gave me the actual.
Oh, that's a real quote.
Yeah, that's the
Our
real
quote.
quote.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So no difference in cost between 1 and 2.
Correct. These
Yeah.
two are the exact same. This one, the rental fee is $21.41. That one is $20.57. So let's say $1 for talking purposes a month per fixture. So what, $107 a month difference between either one of these?
open and
Yeah.
closed, yeah.
And we've been paying about $8 for the old one?
$8.80 basically.
But there will be a considerable savings on the electricity though.
Yes, you're
Mhm,
dropping that
yeah.
by 61%. So when you actually do the bill,
Wow.
your total net,
Huge.
I mean, you're not going up as much. I think you ended up spending an extra $700-800 a month just from that because you had the fixture uptick, you had the maintenance go down by 20%, you had F&E go down by 61%. They kind of netted each other out to that effect.
Is that including the fine they're gonna start assessing?
They're
us 'cause
going
it's
to
old,
eventually,
dated,
Yeah.
we're
they'll
getting ready to
eventually
get 'em.
start to push us in this direction
Well, they are,
regardless.
is it
So-
October, they're gonna start assessing us a bigger fee?
That
because of the
maintenance
old-
would essentially go from 172 to about 3.25
Yeah.
per month per fixture.
So we really
Because
do
of
need
our
to make a
service calls.
change.
Our
yeah.
service calls over the last 2 years have increased year over year 58%.
Mm-hmm.
They're constantly something wrong.
That's that damn
with these.
domino effect, once they
Yeah.
go there.
Yeah, yeah. The one 2 houses down from
It's
mine is
time.
constantly, they came out and a month later it was out again.
Yep.
So it's constantly.
All right, so we'll move forward with that. We'll have Duke do that in the background, do another survey, and then take a look at this next month. What is next month, July?
Mhm, yep.
Yes.
All right. Okay. All right, now we're getting into the recreation area. So when we had the Bright Electric guy come out, he was taking a look at all the electric, and he was looking at the fountain. Looking at the fountain, it looks like the mechanicals on the interior are starting to fail with leakage, and the actual base itself is starting to rust on the interior. So he said it could be time to take a look at another one, and I think the reserve analysis person noticed the same thing, because I don't know how long it's been there, but it's obviously been there a hell of a long time, type of thing. So reached out for some quotes there. You've got 3 of them here, as you can see, 1, 2, and 3. You've got a Halsey Taylor, Ultimate Play, and then Summit Supply provided these. So what you have is essentially, bless you.
Bless you.
The first one here is the tubular pedestal outdoor drinking fountain with a pen fountain on the bottom. So I know people bring their dogs up there as an adder. There's a little
That's
pedal
sweet.
that actually sits there where you can just push it, and it makes that work, and then your dog,
Oh, that's
That's pretty good.
you know.
I have a little portable bowl
yeah.
that I bring up now, but now that it's rusting inside, I'm not sure I'm gonna feed my dog that water.
Yeah, so much to the same effect, you have the 2 outdoor fountain that operates the same way. They actually have this panel here you can see removed. If you needed to hook a hose to it, there's actually a spigot in there. So
Oh,
if you
okay.
needed to,
Oh, that's
Wash stuff
nice.
down?
yeah, you can pull that off with
Nice.
the key and then hook your hose up and then close it back up.
I don't play tennis, but does anybody know if that would be handy for tennis players or anything?
I haven't heard anything on Port
Okay.
The only
Ryan.
thing I can think of is why they need a hose is for pressure washing, but don't they bring their own, when they do pressure
Yeah.
washing, they
Yeah,
bring
they
their
bring
own
their own
trucks,
tanks.
don't they?
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
So
you're
that's the
filling
only thing I can
you're not
think
gonna
of.
fill a
Somebody could bring
300-gallon
slip and
tank with
slide
that.
up
No.
there.
I mean, yeah, unless there's
I'm
like,
kidding.
Yeah.
unless there's an event where you need a lot of water for like buckets or something.
And then the final one is just your basic, I mean, it's pretty much standard what we have today, one single cylinder, single fountain type of aspect.
Mhm.
They range anywhere from
So
2200
why
to
is 2
2100.
cheaper than 1 and it's got that special thing? for
I
the
know,
hose
right? That's what I was
nozzle?
wondering.
Different manufacturer.
Yeah.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you on that. So as you can see there's a cost for each of them. Number 1, $28.30, it's got free shipping on it. Number 2, $27.40 with free shipping, and then number 3 is $22.01 with $250 shipping.
24.50.
So I mean, they're all
I like
within.
number 1.
Oh, a couple $100 I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they've got so many different drinking fountains, but if you're looking for kind of a like for like, you're wanting some kind of something a little more robust, because that thing is just sitting out there in the elements. So all the fountains have a 5-year mechanical warranty on the interior, which
That's good.
seems to be standard across all of them. You're looking no matter what you get, and then a 10-year no rust warranty on it. So
Excellent.
that kind of protects us against something rusting out. The mechanicals for 5 year, I think that's pretty fair for something that's built commercially for outside.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't seem too bad in terms of
Pretty
like
good.
warranty period
It's pretty good.
on that. So
I like number 1.
So I mean, it just comes down to, we want the, if you want to call it the pet fountain or the no pet fountain. To me, the pet fountain, you see a bunch of people have their dogs up there, and I mean, it's just it's something, an adder, and it's not really
Yeah.
that much more money if you look at it.
Right, I like the number 1. It's slimmer too. It's not.
The only thing is I like the option for a hose for in case there's an event and you need to
Wash down the basketball
But
court.
this
wash
is-
down buckets of,
Yeah.
you need buckets of water for something, drinks, I don't know. Or like a food truck comes and needs the hose for cleanup or something. You never know.
We don't have
I
any.
mean,
We have a
Just
place
saying.
hose up there. don't
Do we?
Water and a hose by the wall.
oh, by the wall, right?
Yeah, you're gonna have to strip it.
There's a
if you
hose
get-
bib there?
Yeah, where would this sit? This in the by the
This
tennis
is by
courts,
the
right?
tennis
Yeah.
court.
Yeah, oh,
yeah.
All the
Yeah, I
way up
guess if
there.
we've
You've
got the
got
hose.
the other one
Yeah.
over, and then you want the one by the gatehouse too.
Yeah,
But
you're
most
right.
of the time, for anything we've done heavy duty with requiring water, the people just brought in the Orange County meter, hooked it to the fire hydrant and done it.
Mhm.
I mean, that's how
That's
we
one way to do it.
mandate that with the power washing, because they're not gonna
Yeah.
just fill it up,
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
with, putting the hose
Yeah,
for
that's
300
fine.
gallons in,
Right.
Mhm.
type of thing. I mean, doesn't matter to me. I mean, I can see the plus and the minus of the hose. I mean, do you get the hose?
Oh,
in?
no,
You
if
don't use it, I mean-
we've got that hose by the wall, doesn't matter. I mean, that was just for if it's kind of an isolated area, but if it's not, then no, we're good.
As long as you got the hose long enough, you can hook it to
Yeah.
the wall or the gatehouse, either one.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll make a motion for number 1.
Mm-hmm.
No, second that one.
All right, all in favor of that?
Right?
I,
I didn't even have a pet, and that's a great idea.
yeah. Well, it's convenient
My
for people
parents
who
would say
do,
have a pet.
you know.
Good
Dad-
point, yeah.
Dad's like, how do you like your dog food?
Yep.
Approve number 1, okay. All right, the next one, sports courts for the tennis court cabanas. Back when we did the tennis courts, when 90 Courts came out and did the resurface, I want to say that was 2 years ago, they were asking if we wanted cabanas put in, because every place has cabanas on there. That
Mhm.
instead of the plastic benches that,
That hurt when you sit on them and there's no.
well, they've actually been there, they've been purchased over
burn.
7 years ago. Well, you've got the one plastic bench that's in the tennis court, and then the other plastic bench, which was moved out of the tennis court by the basketball court. We'll have a solution there, we have quotes for that coming up.
Okay.
But essentially, you see these across, various tennis courts, country clubs, anything of that nature. So you have your traditional look here, which is the,
Mhm.
you want to call it the bench. Now, you can get it with actually a backrest on it, a little
Mhm.
table on the top, I think,
Yeah.
or just flat on that. And then this is all stainless steel, that's wood, and then this canopy then is much, it's the same kind of fabric we have on the outside of the gatehouse.
Sunbrella.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then number 3 is actually, if you look at it there, and I believe you have it in half. So for the price, you can put one on between each court, because you'd be looking for one on each court. Between courts 1 and 2, and then 2 and 3, you have it right there.
But each one's a double seater, that wide like that?
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it would fit based on that. Now, if you look at this, even though the footing is smaller, this is only about 4 inches less than that total. If you look at the specs
Oh,
on the
really?
design.
Wow, it looks, that
It's
reaches
just
a
the
lot
angle, it's
bigger.
the angle of the photo.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you could put, essentially one half of that between the one and then one half of the other. It's a little bit more, if you want to call it a more modern design, where that is one of the more traditional.
Which is Turtle
Mhm.
Creek, more traditional,
Mhm.
but.
You
Can you
know.
get that, instead of it being a white canopy, can that be the green that's?
I believe
like
so.
Turtle Creek?
Yes, I'd have to confirm that, but I believe you can get that any color you want, because they had, forest green, all white, blue, whatever you wanted
Mhm.
through the color palette, so.
Yeah, cause I don't care for the.
From here, is the canopy covered so that they're not, so they're more in the shade, the tennis players? I can't really see.
Yeah, you'd have to blow it up, but if you look at it from another angle that they have on the website, you can see that it's the coverage, the shade coverage, because they have like a day shot and it shows the shade projection down on it, much like they have this one in the same kind of look down on it. So I think that this one provides a little bit bigger, if you want to say like a shade, like cone.
Right.
This one kind of has that straight feel just because this has that kind of like edge, so it kind of directs it down. This one
Here
has.
it looked like the top was open.
Yeah.
and
It looks like
everything.
screening. What's
Yeah.
the material on the cover?
Like
Um,
canvas?
Steel, right?
Yeah, steel.
What is it?
Steel, and it's
Steel, okay.
it's perforated, very lightly diamond perforation through it, so drain through. This one is obviously the Sunbrella, which you would clean. You'd have to clean that. type
You
of
pressure
thing.
wash
Get a
it?
clean yellow one too.
Yeah, but I mean, traditional versus kind of.
Recommendations regarding hurricanes?
These are actually they're going to be sunk into the ground, so both of them.
Cover.
On this cover?
Yeah.
Which one takes a branch the best?
Yeah. That I don't know on that one.
That's the question.
Neither.
Yeah.
Hurricane speeds.
But I know that we would have these, you know,
Well, I
obviously
would think
some.
even the canvas is gonna let wind through. I mean, that's what you want, right? It's gonna be flexible enough.
I would hope so.
Yeah,
Because with the
it's
strong
canvas
gusts.
like a, you know, the boat stuff, right? It's
But
gonna,
I mean,
it's gonna breathe and that's
And
what
if,
you want.
and if you look at it, you've got Sun Trends and Tennis Court Supply basically have the exact same kind of model here, minus a couple differences. So I had them quote the one, this is an 8-foot, two 8-foot, which is considered the regular size cabana with a backrest. So you have a backrest here, you know, so this is
Which
just
would
a
be nice, yeah,
non-backrest.
okay.
Both
And is
of-
that in the middle then, the backrest isn't, so
Yeah.
it's still a double seating? on
Yes.
both sides? Okay, gotcha.
So you'd get two of those, your cost is $4,300. Shipping, they have to go through the quote process since it's an oversized item. It'll go, you know, over the road shipping. So that's out there. This one here is the one, the 8-foot cabana. You get two 8-foot cabanas with just the bench. This is just straight bench. It's $3,900. Obviously shipping is to be quoted. Networld Sports is the one who provides number 3 here, which is the double-sided court bench set. It's $4,200 plus $300 for shipping, flat rate.
Is that for the 4?
Yep, that's for the whole thing you see
Okay.
there.
It seats like 8 people?
But it can be separated?
Yes, and in terms of,
So for this, if we
they're all-
went with
they're all 8
one
foot.
or 2, we would have to buy 2 of those.
you'd buy 2 of each. That's what these are quoted at, 2 of this
Okay.
look. And then you had one here, but it disconnects itself in the middle. So instead of having one long
Right,
one, you
right.
have 2
So
individual.
for $4,500, we get both.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the
Now, the other one,
The-
I mean, the other
for the
2.
4,000, is that for 2?
Yes.
Oh, okay. okay.
Yeah,
I see.
they're all quoted. The first 1 and 2 are quoted for 2.
I gotcha.
But shipping, I don't have
Right.
the shipping numbers on
Fair
it. And that could be
enough, yeah.
$500-600. I don't know what their shipping quote's gonna come back at from an estimate to drop ship it.
The seats for the third one, that is steel, right? The
No.
benches are steel?
It's poly, it's the
Yeah,
same kind of
rubber-coated
rubber,
steel.
yeah, what is that, the polypropylene coat?
Because I'm just
Yeah.
wondering, do you think that's gonna get hot with the sun
Sure.
on it? More hot than the other one? That's why I'm asking.
I mean, and that's treated wood, so I don't, you know,
That's why I'm thinking is, these tennis
The wood
players
is not
don't
as
sit on
warm as that
something
metal
that.
stuff.
Yeah.
That's-
Yeah.
Okay, but we have other benches and things to look at, right? Because I think we should consider consistency,
mhm,
right, as we go through and do.
Style, like.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And, you know, I mean,
I mean, I don't
that's
want
why I
this
put
big
this
old,
first, because if you really think
classic
about.
thing and then have all this contemporary
If
stuff.
you really think about a tennis court, you know, I don't think these have changed in like 70 years. These have been like at every country club forever.
They're classic.
And, you know,
They
the-
look nice.
Yeah,
so they're-
and this is just a little bit more, you know, upscale. Now, if you're gonna do a polyprop on another bench with a sunshade, does it make sense to move in that direction where it all kind
Exactly,
of
that's, yeah, so
aesthetically
maybe we
combined?
need to table this and look at some of the other things we're gonna talk about.
Yeah, we can go to the next one, which is, this is the double seat. This is the same polyprop that we have today out there. But this is where the basketball court, where they have the plastic one, the plastic bench, it used to be in the tennis court that they put there. This could essentially be put in the same spot, and then you satisfy the people who want to look at their kids playing at the tot lot, and then you have the people who can sit with a backing facing the basketball court.
Nice.
You know,
That's nice.
because I've seen people rotate it based upon if you're looking at the playground, or that you rotate it looking at the basketball court. So I mean, this essentially kills 2 birds, 1 stone.
And will
Everybody
that
gets
have a
right.
canopy or no?
Yeah, I was about to say.
That one I don't think would have a canopy, based upon the trees that you have there. The growth, I don't think it would support having any kind of canopy over it.
But aren't
Is there
some of
shading
those,
though?
aren't there some of those trees that have to go because they're?
Not though, we just had them trimmed, so
Oh,
they're all
okay.
trimmed back now.
For some reason, I was thinking there was.
Yeah, no, I mean this I wouldn't see unless you've got a straight canopy to go over the top. But that's something, once, you know, it gets installed, because it'll be on a cement pad bolted in like the other benches. We can look at that if we're finding that, you know, it's getting too hot or whatever, like to that
Could always
effect.
add one.
Yeah.
Gotcha, okay.
Now those, you've got, they're essentially all the same. That's why I don't have, you know, pictures. They're all 6-foot in-ground mounts, and then you got Belson Outdoors, School Outfitters, and APC Shelters. They have all got the same green, like we have, today. All the costs, I mean, you got $978, $846, and then $940. Shipping, I mean, everybody's about $1,200
Yeah.
for it. I mean,
Yeah.
one's at $1277, one's at $1225, and one's at $1119. I know that the Belson and the APC shelters will ship next day in stock. School Outfitters would not give an estimated ship date on it, so I don't know if that's why their price is lower, since they have to procure it from somewhere. But the other two have them in stock and ready to ship.
For consistency, we could use those on the tennis courts? Put a
Well, they're gonna
canopy on?
bolt in. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Could,
Don't you
Is
think
there-
a big issue is gonna be not having a cover? Because Raphael is always complaining about that there is no cover for the benches.
Yeah, but where he's talking about for this, Kathy, there's a big tree there, so
No,
if we.
Lou, you said we were gonna put these in the tennis court and then put a canopy over it?
Right.
For consistency?
Yeah, I mean, you could do that, but I thought the traditional look for the tennis,
I like the wooden one, to tell you
Yeah.
the truth, the best. Yeah.
I mean, it is,
Me too.
it is a traditional tennis court look,
Yeah.
a country club kind of look.
Right.
Right.
I don't think this strays to the contemporary side that much, because we have basically the same
I agree.
thing today
Yeah.
out there, albeit in just been
It's a
out there. for-
table and chairs.
Yeah,
Is
and
that
the one by
same?
the basketball court is just a one of these.
yeah.
That
It's
has,
kind of a
and
middle
then the
ground.
one by that McDowell Park sign that everybody forgets about is the same one-seater polypropylene.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're all basically the same material
Mhm.
on there.
Yeah, these are the standard ones. I see them at all the schools,
Yeah.
parks and rec,
They
everybody
look
uses
nice
these
too,
things.
don't they? Yeah.
And ours have
Wooden
lasted
ones
They're
are
forever.
tough.
better.
These
They
things are tough.
yeah.
The what?
The wooden ones.
For the tennis?
That's
Much
really
better.
nice.
Yeah, even here,
Yeah,
because these are very hot.
they are very
Very good.
hot.
Yes, they are. They get very.
And that's why we were looking at putting a canopy over the one by the
Canopies, yeah.
basketball court that sits exposed on the one side by the tennis courts. You got
Mhm.
that one, because that does get extremely warm
Mhm.
during the summer there. This one, I mean, it depends on, we'll see where we place
And they are
it.
not comfortable.
What?
No, I can
No,
tell
they
you
are.
that, I can tell you
Yeah.
that picnic, that table and chair thing is not comfortable.
No.
But with the shade trees, it does not get too hot.
Yeah.
Right, I sit up there a lot, but it's not too hot, but it is not comfortable.
No.
And it
No.
leaves little dots on your leg.
Yeah, they're meant for middle schoolers and
Yeah.
children.
That's
They're
right.
meant to just take a seat. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
It's like a torso.
yeah, I mean, this polypropylene thing has been kind of the standard, it seems.
For years.
Yeah.
They're good.
They're tough.
They are tough. That's one
They,
thing.
they hold up to a beating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, but this would essentially provide the extra seating. We can get rid of the faded tennis court bench that got relocated. Because that thing isn't bolted
Yeah,
into the
it's
ground.
kind of jacked up there
Yeah.
right now in seating. It's just not right, yeah.
What's the installation cost gonna be?
Mike Hahn will do the installation cost. For him to lay the cement pad and do the install on it, I think it's $250.
That's
Whichever
cheap.
design?
What was that? Whatever, yeah.
Whichever design?
Yes.
That's cheap.
Yeah, no, I mean, because he's thinking, he's gonna he would do the install for these, he would do the install for the tennis courts, so he's
Yeah.
given the price,
It's the
break.
concrete. Concrete's freaking $175 a yard now.
So, I mean, and he's the one who poured the pads for the ones that by the table and then the basketball court that we had
Yeah.
put into the ground too. So, it makes more sense, because when I quoted these to have somebody, a full install, I mean, you're looking at another grand on top of
Mhm.
this.
Oh, yeah.
For
Oh,
the,
yeah.
and the
Yeah.
install finish and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
So,
That's why we said 200. Like, boy, that's cheap.
yeah. No, I mean, if he goes, gets 3 or 4 of these, and then the economies of scale makes sense at that
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
I mean, we can table the tennis court ones until next time, and maybe we move forward with this. I mean,
Well,
there's
the only reason why I want to table the tennis court is to see if we've got other canopies that we need to talk about, because I think whatever canopy we pick needs to be throughout. is
Yeah,
all
I
I'm
agree. There
saying,
should
right?
be a overall
Yeah.
consensus of we can't
So-
have modern and then
You
traditional.
had
or we
originally
can't have that gap.
shown, where it
Yes.
looked like the kind of
Yeah.
the kite.
The shade, yeah.
Yeah, and if we're gonna go with that, that's more contemporary, then we would wanna maybe think about that other one, if we're
And I
gonna
think
go.
for what we have, like at that table, you're gonna get the kite with the one post is the way to go, just because it's, you don't want it to be overwhelming over that
Yeah,
table.
yeah.
And then you would have basically the one post that would come over the top of that bench by the basketball court. So you're gonna have basically all one post with kite and shade kind of look to it. at that
In
point.
the hunter green that matches.
Yes, yeah,
our
we-
stuff.
yeah.
Okay, well, I'll be.
Yeah,
okay.
it would be hunter green, and you probably have the black post and then hunter green, or something to that.
So
effect.
then that one that was white, we would get
You would-
that in the hunter green, that would probably go better with.
You would have that as all hunter green, and I'll verify that with the
I
vendor.
mean,
that you would.
I'm with you
can
guys,
use
I
it.
like that one better, but I just don't think that's gonna go. It's gonna, we'll have that in the tennis court and then the more contemporary outside.
Yeah, we need to be uniform.
I think so,
I
too.
agree with that, yeah. Whichever way we go, we gotta be uniform.
So, well, why don't we get some sunshade quotes in
Yeah.
to do that? I'll try to get the shipping costs, because I don't know what their shipping costs are for the first two, for these guys. I mean, it could be something astronomical.
Right,
And crazy.
yeah.
Because even around here, sports places, they don't have anything really in stock. It's all drop shipped and over the road type of
Yeah.
stuff, so.
Well, the LTL freight's about $1 and a half a pound these days, so.
Yeah, and I think these are what, 100, I think these are like 175, 220 pounds. I forget what it was on the spec sheet for
So I
those.
figure at least $1 a pound.
And if we
At least.
go with the wood one, we're gonna have maintenance on that down the road, right? Because
Yes.
that's what happened to us before, they were
Yeah.
all wood, right? And they,
Yeah, I mean, you'll eventually have to swap out the wood seats at some point
Yeah.
on that. I'm sure it's right after the warranty period expires.
The day after.
Yeah, like the day after, a planned obsolescence
Yeah.
thing. But why don't I get some more information on this, on the tennis
Okay.
court stuff? We'll look at it again. Let's get some sunshade stuff in, because that should be in by the end of this week for the sunshade, or by that table, picnic table, whatever you want to call it over there. And then this one, we can go with, I mean, we do need some kind of seating over there, because it looks pretty hokey with that.
is that the same seating? It's not the same as the other one, right?
No.
It's the same as the one by the basketball.
No, it's not the same as the slide we just looked at, that
No.
one.
No, different one.
No, they're different.
It's, okay.
Yeah, they're different. I mean, and they do have other ones, if you want something that doesn't look so, I guess, egalitarian, they have like kind of like a regular seat chair. It
Mhm.
might be, I think you're probably familiar with those.
Yeah,
It's like
sculpted ones, they're nice,
Yeah,
yeah.
sculpted ones. Price probably goes up, throw another 600, 750 on it,
Mhm.
I'm assuming. And I don't know if they come in a double. Now, you might have the ones where you can have one chair facing this way, one chair where it goes
Mhm.
opposite, I've seen before. And that's something we can look at if you want something a little more, you want to say, creature comfort versus, you're looking at, this is, out there to take a tank to roll over it.
Right.
Mhm.
And these do get a pretty good beating.
Well, you're in that.
They do,
They'll
they
take
really
it.
do,
These?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Take it.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Because we're gonna
they
have
get
to,
a lot of use.
if you look at the one by the tent or by the basketball court, that one's gonna have to be replaced, because you're starting to have the polyprop go away, and you get that
Rust.
rust in there. It's starting to show it around, and that's why we had to scrap the old one that was around, but by the litter box, or the volleyball court. That was that one, that had to get scrapped, it was completely rusted out. I mean, it got, that polyprop moves away, and it just goes to.
Goes quick.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like ridiculous, so. Let me come up with some more options with this, and we'll
Okay.
take a look at it holistically next
Okay.
month, and then we can make a decision on those.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Yep. Pet station replacements. So, we talked last time, all the pet stations are basically end of life. The posts are rotting through the bottom, unfortunately. As you see the severe lean on the one by the, what's it called? Front. These are the most, I guess you want to say, like-for-like replacement. Everything else that you'd have out there for a doggy waste station is like you see at Dr. Phillips Park. Tall, skinny, kind of like sticks out like a sore thumb.
yeah.
Where these are more, okay, this is aluminum. We don't want the plastic ones, because they do have plastic ones. Those things will just die. And that comes with the post. It fits our doggy bags that we have inventory
Okay.
on. Same concept, bags in the front, waste in the side,
Yeah.
type of thing. So we'd need 3 of them, because we have the one in Waters by the fountain, we've got the one in Boca by the dry pond entry, and then the one in the front. For longer life, we're gonna put them on a cement pad, put them in,
Okay.
mount them in there. Where right now they're just in a concrete ball on the ground, which isn't the sturdiest thing when the ground starts to shift. But So for 3 of them, aluminum, and they're called doggy pot dog valets. You've got
All right.
3 of them at discount playground supply is $1,400. Shipping is $379, total $1,800. RV park supply is $1,610, free shipping. And then Summit Supply has them for $1,485 and $169 shipping. So I mean, they're the exact same product, exact same model number on those. I mean, RV park supplies, you can get free shipping. That's the cheapest one up
I mean,
there.
they're the cheapest
Sold, yeah,
regardless.
just so the
If it's all the
cheapest, I
same
don't-
product. So all of them warranty for 2 years, and they're all local to Orlando?
Doggy Pot, the brand, is located in Orlando. It's over
Okay.
It's over on Research Drive. So if anything
Right.
goes wrong, you don't have to deal with RV park supplies. You can deal with Doggy Pot and just roll.
Okay.
Take your
Right.
doggy valet to go, swap it out over there.
Put
if
it
you
in your
want.
car.
Yeah.
We have to empty it first.
Glad you volunteered, Mike.
Depends on how quickly it fails. Yeah, but these are the most closely, like for like ones, like I said.
Well,
Everything else looks
they're
so.
covered by shrubs anyway,
Yeah.
so it's just a
But,
matter.
but you don't want everything sticking up so high like the one
Well,
in
Yeah.
I
Doggy
agree.
Park.
That's
Just,
absolutely right, yes.
So if that's the case, we can,
I'll make a motion
Well,
for.
they also do that because they want the owners to see it's
Yeah.
right here,
Right, the
They
park,
want them
right.
to pick up and put
Yeah.
it there. So,
All right, so which one?
I mean, the
RV's
cheapest alternative
number
is good
2.
for me.
Yeah,
RV's
number 2, yeah.
Yeah.
Why not? If they're all the same.
All right, we have a motion.
I'll motion for number 2.
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll get that.
What, do you know what the base flange looks like on this thing?
No, I can pull it more detailed.
Okay, just
I thought I had
curious.
to get the action shot with Fido here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because then, I kept looking, I'm like, where do you put this stuff? And there, obviously there's the door on the side.
The little door on the
So,
side, yeah.
That's what we have now.
So
like
it
on
lifts,
the side.
it lifts up then,
It-
right?
it'll
Or is
have
it
the
like
back hinge.
hinged?
Like the ones today, they have a back hinge, you just
So
flip
they,
them over.
they hinge, okay.
Yeah.
And then they pull the bag out.
Yeah, because I thought some of them had covers that come off, and I'm like, during a
Yeah.
hurricane, that won't be the best
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. That's good.
All right. All right, so that covered all the continuing business there. So I've got the notes, we'll get that for next month. We'll have probably a lot more quotes. We'll also have the design stuff for the front sign, marquees like we we're talking about. I'll have
Oh, yeah.
those the artist rendering for a couple different options coming in there, so we'll have a lot to look at next
I'm
month.
excited.
Me too.
Excited for it. Yeah.
All right, new business, street parking, the survey results. So within our lamp fixture, we had the street parking, had 2 questions, and then the food truck question at the end. So we had 283 emails on file. We had 88 total responses, or 31% as a 620. I think it ended up being 89 total at the end of the day from when I sent the final report out. We had 2, and then we closed it at noon on last Friday. So if you look at these updates here, how often do you find street parking to be a problem or issue? At one end of the spectrum, you have 18 responses that said extremely often, and then the other side, 17 said not so often. If you look at then the other one, do you feel the board should pursue an amendment to our governing docs for it with a towing policy for enforcement, which you're going to have some level of enforcement, or it's going to be a toothless policy. It wouldn't make any sense. And the vast majority of communities do have a towing policy, but they're not always enforced on there. The other option is to have a fining committee, but that's a whole separate, to spin up an exact fining committee takes, a minimum of 3 people not associated with anyone on the board in the community.
Yeah.
And you have to have hearings, at least 10, 15-minute hearings, and then issue a statement. And then
What neighbor wants to find an
More paperwork.
Right, I would not want to do.
So, and to question 2, it was almost a coin flip, 50-50. So, and I don't know if you had a chance to go through all the comments. The comments were much like these. They were all over in terms of not a problem, super big problem, this or that. I don't know if there's a happy middle ground, considering that we've had, our governing documents don't say anything about a passenger vehicle, and we have the court case that we got ruled against in that regard. But I mean, I don't know if I'm looking at this from a statistical significance standpoint, I'm not seeing a general mega consensus to say, yeah, we need to spin this up, because you're you're gonna need 66, 2/3, 66% of all the homeowners vote yes.
Oh, yeah, it's just
And you get 90 out of 283, and that's not homes, that's just 283 people, so you might have a husband and wife in the same house. I don't know if you're gonna be able to pull enough energy to justify the,
Yeah, you're right. Because it needs to be 1/3 of the community, and they have to
Well,
vote. Right?
yeah, so,
Two-thirds.
I mean, this is
Two-thirds.
showing here
Oh,
that,
God.
it's tied up. I mean, I don't know that you're gonna get the
Split so
showing.
down the middle, it's crazy.
Well, this has got to be based on the community though. Water's Edge, they got big driveways, they probably don't have a problem. Avalon, close streets, small driveways, they do have a problem, right? Can we see how these votes went
No.
by community?
no,
we didn't do
There's
that.
your answer.
well, no,
Well-
because we can't just make a policy for one community and not another.
I'm not kind of explaining the voting procedure.
Yeah, but
That's
all the
what-
voting is anonymous, so we don't have, like, you make a comment, you can say anything you want, nobody's gonna be,
Yeah.
able to see it, that's the, why you have the survey.
Yeah, we could ask what community you're in, and you could just say, I'm in Boca or I'm in
Yeah.
Avalon, and we wouldn't have reliability to that, and you wouldn't have to answer it either. So it's, I mean, reliability wise,
What does it
Yeah.
cost to have a vote? We went through this last year. What is it, about $500? I know it's a lot of time though.
it's legal fees, isn't it?
No,
To get it
you're
written
gonna,
up?
you're gonna, yeah, legal fees, yeah, cause
To
it's
get it
a-
written up though, right?
Well, with larceny, crime, they'll have 40% discount, you're probably looking at about $2,000 in online voting, and then
Oh, okay.
legal fees, and then you're gonna have more postage, more mailings, and all that. And even then, you're gonna have to start thinking through exactly, what's your enforcement side of it, how do you,
Well, and I think, like you made a comment that people have the towing policy, but they don't do anything about it. Well, if you don't do anything about it, you can't do a one-off then, and somebody that you really need to get on, you can't, you have to do it, right? I mean, you don't have a choice.
yeah, cause
So that's a lot.
And looking at other,
And then
I mean-
don't we have curb paintings and things like that? I mean, if we're
no,
gonna
actually,
tow, we have to-
Tom said, Orange County has new rules, unfortunately, and they're confusing as hell, and he says you're probably gonna have to talk to some kind of towing company or enforcement
Oh God.
for a sign at the front.
To go-
'Cause you can
yeah,
get away
you
from
have
it,
to.
But a sign
Mhm.
at the front, and then they,
You
you go
have
from
to.
there. But he's saying, everybody has a towing policy, he goes, and you'd be surprised, tow a couple people stop parking there.
Well,
I
one-
said, but at the same time, it's like, then you have people who, park there, and, you have some HOAs that go overboard, and any common area parking, you get towed if it's over a certain time, and, I mean, literally, there's some that you have these parking, website pages on their site, they're like literally printed off as like 19 pages of just, I mean, there's no way to actually, it's so complex,
You can't understand.
I mean, it's like, you can't park on the road between, 7:01 PM to 6:59 AM. I was like, okay, who's monitoring that? And
It's-
how do you,
All right, how do you manage
It's
that?
not a nice public image to have a towing truck come rolling through. I'm just saying, if you see a towing truck come through and it's got a car on it, any guests coming through are like, it's just a bad image as far as towing.
and then even then, you have to put a sticker on the vehicle for 24 hours notice on
Yep,
stuff.
yep, yep.
That's Orange County, which
You have to, yeah.
overruled a lot of HOAs, which said they were gonna tow it when you saw it. You can't do that anymore.
Oh, so
You
you
have
gotta,
to
so you
put a
gotta
sticker-
sticker it and then wait 24 hours, and then who's managing that? Who's gonna manage that?
Yeah,
If you look at Waterford Lakes, they have a fining committee, because they're huge. And, they put the sticker on there, and then you can actually apply for like a hang tag, where you can park for no more than 3 days on the street, or something like that. And talking to Ken Zook over there, who's over their HOA, he says it's an absolute nightmare. They have at
It-
least 7 or 8
it
people
requires
dedicated
its own
to
committee
that.
to run that. Just that's the only thing.
Well,
is
it wouldn't be a
it requires
committee.
so
We would
much
have
work.
to make it a board.
Oh.
I mean, it has to be accountable to this HOA, you know what I
But
mean?
if you,
It's
but
just-
if,
I
but
don't
it
know.
falls,
It's
it
just-
really does fall under ARB. Sorry, Mike.
Oh,
Because
poor Mike.
It is really within the, you see that within the covenants.
Okay, well,
I mean, it has to be simple. If the problem we're talking about is safety, then it's 24/7. It's not overnight, it's 24/7.
Well, but
because people
we're
get sick
hearing now,
during the
but
day,
Orange
too.
County's making you tag for 24 hours, right? So
Right.
that's
And
not
that-
gonna help fix safety.
Right, so we hire somebody from the security company, and they drive around
Yeah.
either full-time or 4 hours a day.
Yep,
I mean,
additional costs.
That's what
Yeah.
you're asking for.
Maybe you could get our off-duty sheriff guys to do it, since we're paying them
Well,
to be here.
oh, that's not gonna,
No.
that ain't gonna happen.
No, it has to be
They won't
dedicated.
do
They
that.
can't be doing other things. They need
That's
to do
not their
that.
job, yeah.
And I know that Orange County Sheriff does not like to get involved in private street.
Yeah.
Yeah, they want
Yeah.
nothing to do with it.
Absolutely.
What
But I
they'll
mean-
do is if there's a complaint, they will look at it, and then they'll tell you it's private property.
They'll usually knock
And it's
on the door.
up to the HOA to make the decision.
I mean,
It's
you
private
know,
property.
I have no issues, putting out a vote and that if, then, and that's what, the community wants. I'm just saying, if we're gonna do it and it gets voted, it needs to be very controlled, and we do need to hire somebody, it's a commitment, is all I'm saying.
We need
but-
to also fully
yeah.
understand the cost that goes into this.
Exactly.
Because there are a lot of costs, from us having to do the vote to us having
Well, the
towing
ongoing
company,
costs,
you
yeah.
know, like,
Recurring costs can be huge.
just, yeah, we need to take a lot into consideration.
So-
I mean, like they have at Brentwood, or is it Bristol, they have their security person driving around in a car.
Mhm.
How much that costs them? I don't know, I can call over there and find out, but
Probably $10 an hour.
Get them a golf
Plus-
cart, it's cheaper, but
Plus
still.
profit and overhead and all that other stuff.
vehicle rental fee and
Right.
all, F&E maintenance and all that good stuff.
And so the question is, are we making a problem out of a non?
Well, that's, I guess what I would just recommend is that, I have no problems doing the survey, and like I said, but I think we need to explain, here's what's involved, right? If we're gonna go down this way, this is what's gonna,
As far as,
gonna occur.
because I know one of the issues was that emergency vehicles couldn't get past. And I know for a fact that when it comes to emergency vehicles,
get through it.
they will push that car out of the way.
Yep.
If they are coming to an emergency and you're blocking the road, like actually what they consider blocking the road, they will have no problem shoving that car
Yep.
to the side.
And you pay for the damage to their
Oh,
truck too.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
So
And
it's
if
a
you don't
double
like
whammy.
it, then they take them to court. So as far as an emergency vehicle standpoint, that's not an issue. I don't know about garbage trucks. I think that's that's a different thing. I don't think they'll go pushing people out of the way, but.
No, they
um,
won't pick up the garbage.
Yeah, yeah.
But-
So that's
but-
a different thing, but
the
still.
question is, how many times have we had the garbage trucks not pick up garbage?
Oh, yeah.
Do we have a problem? Not that I know of. So the only time I've heard where we had a vehicle not get through was a special needs bus in Boca Point. That's the only time in 12 years that I've heard an issue. Now, we did have another issue where somebody announced a party on Facebook, and we had 300 cars parked over at Watershed.
Yeah, but that's-
And they were parked in front of.
That's a one-time
fire
occurrence.
hydrants And all that. And I can tell you,
Yeah.
if you park in front of a fire hydrant, I will put my line right through both windows. So.
Oh, I'm sure,
but
absolutely.
On the other hand, Orange County will not tow because it's private property. And now, on the other hand, if you parked in somebody's driveway or in front of somebody's driveway, that homeowner can call and have the car towed.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the only time, really.
Yep, that's right.
yeah.
But is there some annoyances? Yes. But is there a problem? Not that I've seen.
Like in Avalon, the one big problem is that first house when you turn it.
Yep.
Everybody here agrees with that. That
Yep.
very first house has all those little black cars. It's impossible to get through there. We could,
It's not
maybe talk to them.
impossible, it's not impossible.
Everybody
It's
gets
We
difficult.
get through it.
difficult.
Right. It's not
including
impossible.
the garbage trucks and all that.
Exactly.
Does it force you to slow down? Yes. Does it require you to wait? Yes. But I have not parked there and walked home yet, nor have I seen
Has anyone
anything else.
walked up to their door and kindly asked?
I think you've
have.
had
Did
numerous
it
conversations
work?
with them on that, haven't you?
Well, I mean,
I mean-
I try to tell a couple of people, if parties over or whatever, don't park directly across from each other.
Right.
You should leave
Yeah, I
25,
think double parking
25
is-
feet is
yeah.
usually the standard that's recommended, and say, you know, like that, and
And
you
then
can
don't park
zigzag.
behind a driveway
Yeah,
either.
and, you know,
Right.
that, if people use more common sense, I don't think it'd really be that major of an issue. But when you get side to side, yeah, it is, you have to slow down, you have to kind of be paying attention, you know, when you're trying to get through. And if they just would adjust, it wouldn't be an issue. So, you know, do we take that as an educational opportunity to say, okay, here's how you should really kind of park in here. If you're gonna park in the street, you know, do not park direct, you know, it should be staggered,
Right.
25 feet minimum, because it doesn't help if you're 5 feet, you know, and you still create an issue. It needs to be 25 feet and not directly across from each other, but again, you know, that's a suggestion, and maybe it helps to alleviate it if you have, you know, an educational, something visual where people can see it that can go out or be posted on the website or something like that.
I mean, if you've talked to them, I'm not sure what else.
Yeah.
But eventually, there will be an emergency, that truck is not gonna slow down, and
Oh.
it is gonna sideswipe the car.
Absolutely, I know that.
It will
Yep.
happen.
I did that.
Even
to
law
the
enforcement
truck.
will do it if they need
It's
to.
$10,000 worth of damage to our truck, but basically, the order was to
Yep.
go through.
Yep.
Without going through all this.
You're not slowing down.
Can you restrict parking to just one side of the street or another?
No.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I know a community as well, just to give an example. They're over in Kissimmee, and they have this whole system about parking on the left side of the street, well, on one side of the street on the odd months, and then on the even months on the other side. Imagine how complicated that is for me every time I go in there. I have to ask the guard, which side am I parking on? And what's worse is I'm a guest to their community, and they have security going around putting notes on my car because I was parked on the wrong side of the street as a guest for 2 hours.
But again, so they've got somebody that's managing that, right?
Exactly.
They've got shifts
But
and,
it's just,
you know,
it's like, there's a lot that
sometimes
goes into it, like, and especially for if one of your guests gets one of those notes or anything on their window, it's not very flattering to the community to know, like, well, I'm here as a guest. I didn't know that I was supposed to park on this side, you know. So I just want to tell you that story
Right,
since
what
I
are
go
your
there
thoughts?
every day. So
I think it's not an issue. We don't have any like big things. That's why bother to discuss this? Just leave it as it is.
well,
I know it's
just a huge
inconvenient.
cost. That's the problem.
I know
Well, I
it is
just think going
inconvenient to
forward,
have
that's my
cars
biggest thing is
sometimes.
going forward.
But it happens very rarely. It's not everyday situation that.
Oh, yes, it
Well,
It
it is
is,
for us,
yes.
Well-
yes.
Well, I mean, you're always more than welcome to go and knock on their door every day until they give you a trespass warning and
Maybe
say,
to start
"Could you
out
move
with
the car?" You know.
a simple email to everybody to respect your neighbor. If your driveway's empty, your garage is empty, don't leave your car on the street.
Well.
Very simple. If the need is there and you have to for guests, whatever, but just respect your neighbor so they can back out of their driveway. They can take corners freely.
But I don't think that
Simple,
helps
just
the
ask the
entrance
people
to
in an email.
Avalon because those people, their cars are in the driveway
Right,
and then
the
they're
driveway's
parking on the
full garage.
street.
Yeah,
That
yeah, but
doesn't
if it's
fix
empty-
that, right?
Well,
It's not empty.
we could always phrase it more in, it's the summer months, our community is going to be more busy.
I still
We'd
think
just like
this-
to remind
the solution
people.
is
you know.
the easiest, is learn how to stagger the cars. I
Yeah,
mean,
well,
that to me is
some
the
people
big
don't
thing.
know.
Stagger the vehicles
People-
correctly.
Yeah, people stupid.
Some people don't know how to park.
That's why I'm saying you need a picture. Yes. No. And then
Diagrams,
a little diagram.
yes,
Yeah.
no.
I mean, but something like that is, I mean,
I-
that
But
could be.
again, we can't enforce
Yeah.
anything.
We
Doesn't
can
matter.
enforce,
We
yeah.
can.
What about the law of how close to the stop sign a car
Yeah,
can be
this
parked?
is a very
Um,
serious.
Because they really get, seems like you can't get your car on the correct
Mhm,
side of the
correct, yeah.
road at that entrance.
I don't know any of the legalities against.
And
on
that one went to, I asked the sheriff Parks on that. He said, you're gonna have to contact Orange County
Yeah.
Traffic Engineering, whatever.
Oh.
Orange County Traffic Engineering said, you guys are a private road, it was set up how it
They
was
don't
set up.
need
And
to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, and then I asked, what if we're a non-private road? Well, then it's probably, anything, I think they said, what, 50 or 150 feet or something like that.
50 feet.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
it was something that I was
okay.
like, okay, that's really not
That's-
that big of a lead. You know, it's not like you got a huge runway coming in.
50?
No, 50 feet. is
50.
standard.
I thought something like
Or
that.
15?
50, 50.
Are you
50.
sure?
Yeah.
50 is so.
It's
Even
enough
50,
to,
even
it's
50
enough
feet
to,
is-
the idea is to be able to get around that car, get in the other lane and
Mhm.
stop, so you can make a correct turn without blocking the other lane.
Yeah, you don't want to stop while you're in the opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
somebody coming in.
because then people will like run the stop sign. Oh, it's
I
because
don't
there was a
know,
car
I
that,
just-
you know, like,
Anyway, they are running the stop signs.
we always have people run the stop sign. I
I
almost
know.
get hit every day, so.
So, I mean, we can work on a
So-
communication that can go out for the summer months.
I think the
and-
communication-
And see if there's any difference on it, but, you know, I don't think that we've got enough
Alone and.
traction to expend the money
So what?
to go through the whole
Yeah,
process of
but you
something.
know, but my thing is though, whatever we do, I wanna plan, I don't wanna talk about this again. We keep coming back and coming back, let's
Well,
just,
well,
right?
there's.
And revisit maybe next year, but
Yeah.
I don't wanna keep doing rehashing.
Well-
If you go through the
Um,
minutes, historically speaking, this topic has come up multiple times, and it's gotten beaten down every single time.
Yeah, I just, so.
Well, maybe that email. We'll focus on seeing
Try
if
that,
we
and
can
that's-
write a kind email
So,
about our
okay,
busy
so
parking.
that'll be our action item and then we'll
Yep.
see how that goes and
Mhm.
be done.
Yep, well, that's what
Fair
we can
enough.
do.
Okay. All right, the other item that we were talking about is the, I mentioned for new business, Avalon tree trimming. So it came to attention, Maria who sent it to me, in Avalon, and I've had requests from other people in Boca. The road trees are, you know, good old pines, or live oaks, excuse me. When we trim those trees, like we did last year, the wholesale trimming, we put in there, if you want your trees trimmed back on your property,
Right.
alert us and we'll put it in a queue, because we don't go on anybody's property without their permission.
And we had some.
We did. We had a
We had
handful.
Avalon, we had all three neighborhoods.
I've had,
right?
and I've had 4 requests this year. 2 are complete. 2 have been bundled in with the root ball extraction quote that's coming. I talked to Advanced Tree Pro today. They'll take care of it. But in terms of, you know, overall, I mean, I know that the rain has caused a lot of these things to dip. You know, if you look at it, and a lot of it is growing across multiple areas, closer to the homes. But I guess if people aren't reaching out on this, I mean, I don't know if we're gonna undertake a full sale, because next year would be our cycle. We've got an interim trim this year coming. We'll have to entertain like we usually do, and then the full trim gets done next year.
Okay, but for the limbs that are on homeowners' properties, we have a process for that, so that needs to stay in place. Like, we wouldn't do a full property, because we're not gonna go on their property unless they say so, so.
The limb is on the tree that's on Turtle Creek property.
Agree, and so.
Turtle Creek's.
It's Turtle Creek.
It's not the homeowners.
I'm not debating if it's if it's our property as an HOA, but we're not gonna arbitrarily go and cut limbs back from homes unless the homeowner requests it.
That's right.
not going on
And
anybody's
that's been our
property.
process and our procedure, so I don't understand why these, if
I
somebody,
mean,
if somebody wants the trim, all they gotta do is pick
And I
up their
think
phone or go
when
on
we
the web and
did
ask
the
for it.
tree policy, 3 and a half years ago, you know, it was always stated, if you have an issue, you request the attention. I mean, we put it in work basket, you get enough of them, justify it, and then boom, they come out, well, get it done. But I'm not receiving, and I know Maria said she went through it, she's not receiving any complaints on trees. I mean, like I said, I've had 4 requests this year.
So what is the process? What do we do?
Shoot an email. Just, I mean, you can use the website contact us page. I had one person, the one person we did in Boca sent me a message on Twitter, an email to Maria, an email to me. I mean, we put them in queue, we'll have the person come out, take a look at them, and then, you know, usually we want to, you know, get them in a work basket that makes sense. So, you know, you don't get killed on overhead for one tree. When we get enough critical mass, we bring them out, and we'll have them cut. We're moving.
I think that process needs to be told to the homeowner.
I've
You
never
know,
heard
maybe
this.
it was,
We never heard about
This
we
is
don't recall having
Never
heard
heard
that,
this.
but
Well, we've had other homeowners in Avalon that have heard of it, because they've asked for it, so, but, Mike, when you send out your next.
right, if they're.
Yeah,
pretty,
well, more than happy to do that.
But the
I don't know the
trees,
draw, why
we
would they
can't, we need to like seriously, when you get out there, don't just like snip, because there's a lot of them that are on garages. Now, I'm a short person. I had 3 limbs hit me in the head this morning. If they're hitting me,
Get a little bit of water on them, you just walk it down the
Okay,
sidewalk.
but we have a professional arborist that comes out and does that stuff, right?
Well, they
I
did
mean,
a terrible job then, if anybody's doing it.
They're not
Every,
doing it
every
all the
tree
time.
trimming's been done on the street side only. Nothing happens on the resident side. Now you're saying they have to ask for that?
Yeah, and
We've
that
said
would-
all
To get,
along
to
they've
make
had
it
to
safe
ask
to
for
clean, to
that.
be able to walk down your sidewalk, and to keep it off your garage and your house?
So we want every single person that has an issue to email you,
Mhm.
and you will get this done quickly.
We, like I said, we will get attention to it, we'll batch it together, when we have enough, we'll have it executed.
But you're in the hurricane season now, Mike. You can't drag this out like all this other stuff.
But
these
again,
message boards
if
and
people
that.
bring it up, we will get it done. If we got 15 people, I can tell you, I can get that work basket done pretty quick. But if I'm not getting any inclination, I'm not arbitrarily, and we've passed it on the ARB too, we do not go on homeowners' property unless it's been requested. It's just not gonna happen.
How deep you go into the property? I mean, just the sidewalk?
To the side, end of the sidewalk, we open the sidewalk to sidewalk.
Because then,
Right, but you know, it's
Yeah.
just
Not
the
the driveway,
branches,
right?
right,
Mhm.
well,
You have the apron that's in there, but that's it.
Okay.
yeah.
We've always been told too that the roots grow as far as the canopy's width. So now we're letting these big branches go towards the house, that means those roots are gonna go into the foundations. Right?
Yeah.
We've always heard that. Every time we talk trees, canopy determines the length of the roots. And there is houses where big branches are up on the roof. And
Yeah,
I know
I've seen 'em.
Ursula's talked to you about that house already, her
Yeah.
old house.
I
And it's already it's already being taken care of, that's
It's
one of
still
the
there.
things. Because it's in the work basket, I emailed her and someone else in Avalon back today, said, we've got quotes coming, it'll be approved, and it'll be taken care of. Because it's with the root ball, we're not gonna just deploy an arbor care for one tree. You get the trees together, if there's 15 people that come from this meeting, and we can send out an email to that effect, I'm more than happy to get a quote, we'll get it pushed through and get them cut.
And
Maybe
we
we
need to
should
get an
post-
email out because people don't know it. Trees are not
Maybe
being
we should post
trimmed.
on our
Crap
website.
is falling
No.
everywhere.
Yeah, that's another issue. There is branches broken off and dead from Irma that are still up there
Yeah.
Mhm.
in the trees.
One
Because
that
that was
just came
never
down a
done.
week ago.
Yeah.
It's
Now,
been up
that's
the
in
another
homeowner
the-
has to
hanging
call
up
about
in the
that
tree
too?
for-
Yeah, I mean, if you see a larger branch, but for the most part, the branches that are up there that you can still see, and I've seen them, are not exactly the biggest ones. We had that pulled out and we spent, what, 12, 14 grand last year after Irma.
16, it was
Yeah, for
16,
that.
we
Clean.
spent for that. Sure did.
So live oaks grow anywhere from 6 to 18 inches a year. And with the rain that we're having, it's obvious that it's weighing down the ends on the growth. That's why you're getting a matted down, so to speak, canopy on that. But again, if people, and I'm more than happy if we'll communicate it again, if you want it cut, we'll work to get it cut. It's not an issue. Never has been an issue.
Don't understand the drama and the negativity. It's like,
we just have to get
call it.
enough people.
You know,
That-
We would like
That's
to
it,
have
right?
gotten the trees taken out, but we're never allowed to have that. And all the damage and everything else that's happening because of those trees, and all the expenses you all are having to do for the sidewalks every year because of the trees.
Yeah.
It's
And-
too
and-
small a space for a live oak tree to be
And the
there.
costs that we
Well,
have are indicative
that's
across
part of the
everybody who has.
association. That's not this
Yeah.
board. It was part of the association that everyone has an oak tree. That
Are
was
we
the
saying
builder.
that
That's
every
not
time-
us.
Every time we do a tree trimming, this yearly thing, you are not doing anything on the resident side in any of the 3 communities unless the people ask for it?
Correct.
You're only doing the street?
Yes.
Well, I don't think that's-
I don't think that's true. I've never heard that in all the 14 years
Well,
we've lived
I
here.
will pull up the multiple email communications that went out with that, because I had a fair amount, I'd say 14 or 15 people from the last big, it's biannual, every other year, we do the larger thing, and it was taken care of. They were on the list, they were taken care of.
But now the limbs that are hanging over the sidewalk, that's your property, right?
Mhm.
So
And-
those should be addressed.
And we will
Even if
address
they
it when,
are on-
and I told them, they're coming in, when they do the root ball and the 2 Avalon homes that we have in this work package, they're also coming in to take care of a common area, the one common area, live oak that's leaning down into the parking lot by the dog station, and they're going through the entire community and cutting back from the lights, because some of the lights are getting, obscured in that, as well as cleaning up some sidewalk stuff, because all 3 communities have some sidewalks that have long, some hangers, let's put it that way, down, and they'll be lifting where they can lift on those.
Okay.
You know,
When
that-
they replace the sidewalks, are they gonna take out the roots like
Yes.
they're supposed to do?
Root mitigation will happen on that. So if a panel comes up and there's a root under there, they're gonna cut it out as much as they can, you know, and then relay it, you know, or I guess you'll cement it back in when they
Is
do
there a
it.
height restriction on how high they can go up? Is there a,
In terms
like
of,
ceiling, like lifting the canopy? Is there
usually the canopy, we targeted, was it 18 feet, because that was because it used to be 16 feet for the
Old
fire truck,
Yeah.
but now it's 18 feet because the garbage trucks are higher than a fire truck on that. So that was what you wanted over the road. Any over the walking space, it's usually recommended 8 feet. We try to have them do 10, because we know that we get growth. We're at season, it does drag everything down in that. And obviously, it's been extremely wet. They've been, you know, obviously, I think they've been growing faster than they have before, weighing it down. So, you know, that's why we're going to cut back the lights. We got to have the lights. You know, they can't be covered in that, because, you know, Duke Energy will come in and hack the heck out of them. So we want to proactively get those taken care of before they make a mess. And then where we do have some spots, walking the community, there are some low hangers. Not going to lie about that. I mean, but it's on their list to do when they come through and do that.
When are they coming in, do you know?
The quote should be here in the next 24 to 48 hours. I met with them
So homeowners
today.
can get their requests in?
I can adjust the work package, that's not a big deal.
Okay, so you can send out a message to everybody, that would be really great. Okay.
And we'll document the process and we'll put it in. I'd rather get it all done at one time, so
Oh,
we don't
yeah.
have to do a redeploy and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
And, you know, speak now or forever hold your peace.
But in the
type of thing.
future, you
Yeah.
just have to go to the website and ask what you need.
Send an email.
I mean,
Exactly, and then it gets
send
in
a
a basket.
WhatsApp, send a Twitter,
Exactly. It
Yeah,
doesn't
I
have to
mean,
get to this point.
Yeah, no, I mean, we got no issue, as long as, you know, we have enough trees to make it, okay, you know, usually it's between 5 or 6 only trees. Now, if we can bundle it with other stuff they're doing in the community, like these 2
All the
trees and the
big,
root balls, I mean, fine, then you have a mixed work basket, but we don't get hit with a small job overhead charge.
Right.
Type of thing.
Yeah.
We're deploying a chipper truck and a crew
Yeah.
for two trees.
Yeah, for a broken limb.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so.
Exactly.
No, but I mean, we'll take that as an action, we'll send out an email, and if we gotta make an adjustment to the quote, we make an adjustment to the quote. It's not like it's
Excellent. That's
a
great.
major issue. Ally can change that from advanced tree pro.
Get it in, get it done, get it finished.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So I just gotta coordinate when they're working on cutting the trees, when the guys are replacing the sidewalk, they need to be in different communities doing work, so we'll just manage that from there.
So
So,
does, sorry,
Yeah.
one question.
Yeah.
So does the homeowner get notified when they're gonna come if they put in the proper request? So if they
Yeah.
want to be there, they can be there and kind
mhm.
of say,
Yeah.
that one is really low?
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
Stuff like
Yeah,
that?
yeah, because the 2 homeowners that I was talking, I mean, I told them, you know, hey, just as an update, we got the quote, you know, met with her today. We have enough in the work basket, we'll have the quote in the next couple of days, the board will, you know, approve officially, you know, to ratify it, and then, you know, we'll get them deployed as quick as possible. So, you know, and then when we get the final schedule, with the people who requested, you know, I usually send an email, hey, it's gonna be on this day, weather permitting, obviously, but, you know, type of deal.
Will they trim it back as far as the homeowner wants, as long as it doesn't kill a tree?
Usually you don't want to take any more than 20% of the.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Off, or it puts the tree in the shop.
Right.
But I mean, a lot of the one we did in Boca, I mean, they cut that back big time.
Yeah.
I mean, they really, I mean, I usually what I like to do is I'll take a picture and I'll mark it up on my phone and then send it to them, so they have, okay, at this address, this is what the homeowner is requesting.
Yeah.
This, and this. They want the driveway up, they want over this, they want to cut back so the lawn gets more sun, you know, and we can work with that. Because
Yeah.
I haven't had any crazy, like,
Yeah.
cut the tree in half.
Because you kill the tree, you gotta replace it.
Yeah,
It's too much shade over
yeah, so,
there. So if there's a renter in the house that doesn't care and the homeowner's not around, and the branches are hanging over the sidewalk, and somebody else gets hurt, Turtle Creek's not under liability for this?
well, one, if it's over the sidewalk, it's not really the renter or the homeowner. We'll, like we said, we'll take a look at it and lift it up there.
I don't know how many times you can say it. If you see a tree limb that needs to be trimmed, send Mike an email. I mean, we're just going.
Now,
I believe Nancy gave them a big list of addresses.
Yeah,
Not that wild.
but that was for dead limbs back, I mean, what was that, 6, 7 months ago? Those limbs aren't really even there.
Okay, that's right.
We addressed all that with the trimming that we did.
So if you see them, send Mike an email.
Okay.
And I mean, if it's a low hanging enough, I mean, when Brightvie's doing the common area on Thursday, they've usually got a tree saw. If it's lower hanging, I can just have them cut it really quick for a quick fix
Yeah.
until we get, enough to have a full thing done. I mean, so if it's like, if it's basically you got a branch 2 feet off the ground because it's hanging so low, I can just have Brightview tell me, I'll have them chop it, I'll walk the guy over there with a saw and have him cut it and drag it out.
Yeah.
So, but we'll take that as an action item, we'll get a message out, see what we get in terms of, I'd rather get everything done, let's get it done in one shot while we know we got a deployment coming,
Yeah, absolutely.
type of thing, so. Anything else from the floor? I'll open it up then as part of the homeowner forum. All right, if there's nothing else, I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 8:11 p.m. Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
All right.
We are adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Oh,